Annie and Jesse, two young dreamers from a small American town, fell deeply in love, their romance growing strong despite their struggles with poverty. But when Annie became pregnant, Jesse, overwhelmed by fear, left her before their son Liam was born. Annie's life as a single mother was full of challenges. She worked tirelessly to provide for Liam while coping with the heartbreak of Jesse's betrayal. Years later, Jesse returned unexpectedly, asking for a second chance. Annie was torn. Should she protect her son or give the man who broke her heart another chance? The story ended with a tense moment, leaving everyone wondering, can Jesse prove he's changed? And will Annie allow their romance to rekindle? Now, Jesse must prove he's not the man who once ran from his responsibilities. As Annie grapples with the pain of the past, Liam's curiosity about the father he never knew adds another layer of complexity. Can Jesse truly rebuild their trust, or will his efforts fall apart under the weight of his mistakes? Episode 2 delves deeper into Jesse's fight for redemption and Annie's struggle to protect her son while confronting her own emotions. It had been a week since Jesse showed up on Annie's doorstep. That one knock had sent ripples through her life, disturbing the fragile calm she had built for herself and Liam. Annie spent her mornings in the quiet of her small kitchen, preparing Liam's school lunches and sipping coffee, but her thoughts were anything but quiet. Jesse's face lingered in her mind, his desperation, his apologies, and those words she couldn't shake, "I'll prove I've changed." She had worked so hard to shield Liam from the pain of growing up without a father, pouring every ounce of love she had into him. Yet here was Jesse, dredging up old wounds and making promises that Annie wasn't sure she could believe. And Liam didn't even know the half of it. Liam was perceptive for his age, sitting at the kitchen table, scribbling on his homework with pencil marks that occasionally went off the page. He glanced up at his mother often. He noticed the way her brow furrowed when she thought he wasn't looking. He heard her long sighs when she thought he couldn't hear. Finally, unable to hold back his curiosity, he asked, "Mom, who was that man from the other night?" Annie froze, her hands still as she buttered a slice of toast. "What man?" she asked, feigning ignorance. Liam wasn't fooled. "The man who came to the door. He looked sad. Was he selling something?" Annie turned to him, a forced smile on her face. "No, sweetie. He wasn't selling anything. He was just someone I used to know." Liam tilted his head. "Did you know him well?" She hesitated, feeling the weight of her next words. "I did. A long time ago." Liam's gaze lingered on her for a moment longer before returning to his homework, but Annie knew the questions weren't over. That night, as she tucked him into bed, he dropped another bombshell. "Do I have a dad?" he asked softly, his big, curious eyes looking up at her. Annie's heart clenched. She had dreaded this question for years, knowing it would come, but never feeling ready for it. "Yes, you do," she said gently. "Everyone has a dad." Liam frowned, sitting up slightly. "Where is he? Why isn't he here?" She sighed, sitting on the edge of his bed and brushing his hair back. "He wasn't ready to be a dad when you were born, but now he says he wants to try." Liam's eyes brightened with cautious hope. "Does that mean I'll get to meet him?" Annie hesitated. She didn't want to crush his hope, but she also couldn't give him promises she wasn't sure Jesse could keep. "Maybe," she said finally, "but only if I think it's the right thing for you." Across town, Jesse was living in a rundown apartment, but he wasn't the same man who had left years ago. Determined to earn a place in his son's life, he threw himself into making changes. He had landed a steady job at a construction site, working long hours under the sun to prove that he could be reliable. Each paycheck felt like a step forward, though the climb was steep. In the evenings, Jesse attended parenting classes at a community center. The other dads in the room were from all walks of life, some struggling with custody battles, others trying to reconnect with kids they barely knew. Jesse listened carefully, soaking up advice on how to be present, patient, and consistent. The lessons were hard, forcing him to confront the man he had been. One night after class, he stayed behind to talk to the instructor. "Do you think it's too late?" he asked, his voice tinged with uncertainty. "To fix what I've broken?" The instructor, a middle-aged man with kind eyes, gave him a thoughtful look. "It's never too late to try," he said, "but trying isn't enough. You've got to show them you're serious every day, even when it's hard." Jesse nodded, the weight of the advice sinking in. He knew earning Annie's trust and Liam's would take more than words. It would take time, effort, and a whole lot of patience. While Jesse was working on himself, Annie was wrestling with her own doubts. One afternoon, she called her best friend Sarah, needing someone to talk to. "I don't know what to do," Annie admitted, her voice heavy with frustration. "He says he's changed, but how do I trust him? What if he lets Liam down? What if he walks away again?" Sarah, always the voice of reason, replied calmly, "Annie, I get it. You've been burned before, and you have every right to be cautious. But this isn't just about you anymore. Liam deserves to know his dad, even if it's messy." "I'm just scared," Annie confessed. "I've worked so hard to protect Liam from getting hurt. Letting Jesse in feels like opening the door to pain." Sarah's tone softened. "You're a great mom, Annie. You've done an amazing job raising Liam, but sometimes protecting him means taking risks. If Jesse's really changed, Liam might gain something wonderful. And if he hasn't, well, You're strong enough to handle it." After much deliberation, Annie agreed to let Jesse meet Liam under strict conditions. They met at the park on a sunny Saturday afternoon. Jesse arrived early, pacing nervously near the swings. He wiped his hands on his jeans, his heart pounding as he saw Annie and Liam approaching. Liam clutched Annie's hand tightly, his eyes darting curiously toward the man waiting for them. When they got close, Jesse crouched down to Liam's eye level, his voice trembling. "Hi, Liam. I'm your dad." Liam studied him for a moment, his gaze inquisitive. "You're my dad?" he asked. "You look like me." Jesse let out a soft laugh, his nerves easing slightly. "Yeah, I guess I do." The afternoon unfolded with cautious ease. They played catch, chased each other around the playground, and shared stories. Liam warmed up quickly, his natural curiosity and openness breaking down the barriers between them. Jesse, for his part, soaked up every moment, marveling at the boy his son was becoming. Annie watched from a distance, her emotions a tangled mess. She couldn't deny the joy on Liam's face, but she also couldn't forget the years of hurt Jesse had caused. That night, as Jesse walked them to their car, he turned to Annie. "Thank you," he said earnestly. "Thank you for giving me this chance." "Don't thank me," Annie replied, her tone firm. "Thank Liam, and don't you dare hurt him, Jesse. If you do, there's no coming back." "I won't," Jesse promised, his voice steady. "I swear." Later that evening, Jesse sat alone in his apartment, staring at a crumpled photograph of Annie holding baby Liam. Tears filled his eyes as he whispered, "I'll make it right. I have to." Meanwhile, Annie stood in Liam's room, watching him sleep. She brushed a strand of hair from his face, her heart heavy with both love and fear. She wanted to believe Jesse's promises, but trust was a fragile thing, and it wasn't easily rebuilt. Will Jesse's determination be enough to mend the broken pieces of their family? Can Annie let go of her fear and anger to give Jesse a real chance? And is Jesse's return truly about redemption? Or are there secrets he's yet to reveal? Their story is far from over, and the next chapter could bring either healing or heartbreak. Thank you for joining us for episode 2 of this emotional journey. If you're just catching up now, you don't want to miss how it all started. Be sure to check out episode 1, linked in the description below. It's packed with the key moments that set the stage for Jesse's return and Annie's struggle. Don't forget to let us know your thoughts in the comments, subscribe, and turn on notification bell to be the first to get notified when a new video is out.